The Paralympic Stories from Ealing and Hounslow exhibition, created by the National Paralympic Heritage Trust, celebrates the Paralympic movement and its roots in Great Britain. Find out how it all began and delve into the world of Paralympic sport. Uncover the stories of extraordinary Paralympians, including some of our local sporting heroes. The National Paralympic Heritage Trust exists to enlighten and inspire future generations by celebrating, cherishing, and bringing the Paralympic heritage and its stories of human endeavour to life. In doing so, it aims to challenge negative attitudes to disability.
A National Paralympic Heritage Trust welcome, sharing the story of the Paralympic movement with a montage of colour footage showing the GB Paralympic team, judo and the sprint. In black and white, ex-servicemen in wheelchairs. Find out how it all began with Dr. Harold Gutman and wheelchair football at Stoke Mandeville Hospital. Meet athletes, coaches, fans and volunteers. Swimmer Ellie Simmons, a wheelchair fencer, the Mexican wave, a delighted coach. In black and white, wheelchair archers. Discover Paralympic sports old and new. Archery, fencing, skiing, equestrian, football. Explore the science of sport. An early running blade, a modern prosthetic limb, a wheelchair adapted for cycling. Find out about sports near you. Swimming, boating, fencing, an Italian winner waving his bike in the air. Celebrate the Paralympic spirit, running, wheelchair racing, smiling Paralympic winners, one kissing her medal, and GB wheelchair winner David Weir.
The founding father of the Paralympics was Professor Ludwig Gutmann, a surgeon who specialised in spinal injuries. Highly respected by medical colleagues and knighted in 1966, he was known to his patients as Papa.
The title, Paralympic Milestones. A series of captioned black and white photographs. In 1944, Dr. Gutman arrives at Stoke Mandeville Hospital, where he revolutionises treatment of patients with spinal injuries, introducing physiotherapy and sport. In 1948, at the first Stoke Mandeville Games, the hospital and the Star and Garter home compete in wheelchair archery. In 1952, at the first International Stoke Mandeville Games, Dutch ex-servicemen are invited to join the competition. In 1960, International Stoke Mandeville Games are held at the Rome Olympics. In 1964, in colour, a wheelchair athlete at the Tokyo Paralympics. Archive colour footage of the opening ceremony at the 1968 Tel Aviv Paralympics. 1976, the first Winter Paralympics, held at Ornsköldsvik, Sweden. 1984 Paralympics at Stoke Mandeville and New York. Stoke Mandeville hosts first wheelchair marathon. 1992 Barcelona Paralympics draw record crowds. 2000 Sydney Paralympics, which include equestrian events. 2012 London Paralympics and the lighting of the Olympic cauldron. 2014 Sochi Winter Paralympics, showing cross-country skiers in bright sunshine. 2016 Rio Paralympics with a host of sporting participants. 2018 Pyeongchang Paralympics.
Blades are prosthetic lower limbs used by amputee runners. Thanks to their curved shape and carbon fibre construction, they are light and springy and allow runners to reach much higher speeds than traditional prosthetics. Kaz Walton OBE is one of the most successful Paralympians of all time. Her first Paralympic Games was Tokyo in 1964, where she won gold in the wheelchair dash and her last was Barcelona in 1992.
I almost got into sport by accident, actually. I'd had a couple of years in and out of hospital with various operations, and I was going up to Great Ormond Street for rehab. One of the physios said to me, there's this thing going on at Stoke Mandeville. Why don't you go and have a look? I did like sport. And I'd started to do a little bit of swimming as rehab. And I thought, well, okay. And my parents took me up there, and that was it, hooked. The switch from rehab to competition was seamless, I think. I was always competitive anyway, and I think I'd done a bit of swimming, and I went to Stoke Mandeville and I saw these other people swimming and doing other sports, and I thought, I think I could do that, and I think I could possibly do it better. Again, the arrogance of youth. I started training. I was really lucky because I got into Beckenham Ladies Swimming Club, which was a very successful able-bodied club in those days, and they gave me a coach, and I went training every minute I could. So that was my first sport, and from there I just had to move on to other sports. I always wanted to win. It was just something in me. I wanted to be the best, and I was lucky because I did seem to have the sort of talent to help me achieve that. And within 2 months of starting sport, I think I'd broken a couple of national swimming records, and the following year I held 3 world records in different strokes, and it just went on from there, really. The first time I went to Stoke Mandeville was possibly a little underwhelming in terms of I turned up at the hospital, and we were expected to stay in the wards I dread to think what health and safety would say about it today, because you were so close to the person in the next bed that you could almost sort of pick their leg up and move it by mistake for your own. But yes, we were either accommodated in the wards themselves, which was the better of the 2 options, or in sort of Nissen huts, which had been built by the RAF in 1950 something, which were cold in winter and hot in summer. But it wasn't the way it looked, it was the way it felt. And it was just an amazing environment. There was so much of a buzz in those, well, I think there still is, but certainly in those days, that's what caught me. There was a camaraderie. The hospital staff and Papa Gutman were amazing, and there was the sport as well. Sports facilities were a little basic. We got transported up to RAF Halton to swim. Didn't have a swimming pool on site. We did have a basketball court. When I first went there was no athletics track. We only did 60 metres in those days, so we only really needed a 100-metre strip, but that was a long time before it went in. And field events was just a sort of painted line on the grass and get on with it. But there was nowhere else like it.
Tokyo first hosted the Paralympics in 1964 with 378 athletes from 21 countries, and will host the Games for the second time in 2021 with 4,400 athletes from over 160 countries. Umbrellas were a recurring theme of the 2012 opening ceremony, including those carried at the head of each national team during the athletes' parade. Having dreamt of winning a Paralympic gold medal from the age of 10, Natasha's dream became a reality when she won gold in the Grade 2 individual and Grade 2 freestyle equestrian events at London 2012. 4 years later, in Rio, she retained her individual and freestyle gold medals before going on to win a third gold in the team competition.
Hugh was a member of the GB team who went to the 1964 Tokyo Games. With Paul Lyle, they won the bronze medal in the men's doubles B table tennis competition. After the Tokyo Games, he continued to compete internationally in table tennis, snooker and wheelchair basketball. Gaz made his debut for Great Britain at the 2009 BT Paralympic World Cup, competed at the London 2012 Paralympics and was part of the bronze medal winning team at Rio 2016. Founded in 2004, the PACE Charitable Trust promotes the inclusion of young disabled people in sport across the London Borough of Ealing and beyond. PACE uses sport as a way of combating the isolation experienced by many disabled people and to help them develop essential life skills. Ealing Swimming Club is the UK's largest swimming club with over 1,500 swimming members. Their motto is "Every swimmer counts", and in partnership with Metro Blind Sport, they have led the way in encouraging and promoting visual. Ealing Swimming Club is the UK's largest swimming club with over 1,500 swimming members. Their motto is "Every swimmer counts", and in partnership with Metro Blind Sport, they have led the way in encouraging and promoting visually impaired swimming. Established in 1987, it was one of the first football clubs to launch a community football coaching programme and later expanded into health, disability and education projects, helping people to tackle any existing obstacles they face playing sport. Better are the UK's leading charitable social enterprise. They were involved in the London 2012 Paralympic and Olympic Games and since 2013 have operated major legacy facilities across London. Better also supports disability athletes at all levels through the GLL Sports Foundation, which has made over 16,200 athlete awards and grants. Sally Haynes competed for Great Britain at the Tokyo 1964 Paralympic Games in archery and went on to compete in wheelchair fencing at a further 3 games. She was appointed MBE in the 1988 Birthday Honours List. Dimitri Kuchar made his Paralympic debut at Rio in 2016, where he progressed to the quarter-final stages in both the foil and épée wheelchair fencing events. He has gone on to become the first Brit to win 3 individual medals at a World Cup event in 2018 and is a current European and world champion.